Wasn't expecting a package. Wonder who it's from. There's no return address. Hope it's something sexy. Wait, there's a note. Rachel, enclosed are some objects that may be of interest to you. Best regards, Curtis Craig. Now I know it'll be something sexy, or at least really kinky. Let's see what that bad little boy sent me. A screwdriver, a hammer, some Polaroids, and a wallet. Oh well, nothing that really turns me on, but this stuff will be really helpful. Actually, more helpful to you. I was just hoping for something a little more erotic, something I could really play with. Curtis knows how much it disappoints me when he thinks about work too much, but I'll deal with him later. Anyway, I suppose you're wondering what all this stuff is for. Well, you're going to need all of these things and a few more to solve the puzzle of flesh. My name is Rachel Moore, and I'll be your host through this GameWizard's Guide to Phantasmagoria 2, A Puzzle of Flesh. My favorite psychopath, Curtis Craig, will be the lead role in a bizarre journey of murder, deception, and sex. That's the best part. But we'll get into that later. With my help, you and Curtis will solve a few murders, meet some aliens, and spend some time in a very exclusive nightclub. But you better be careful. You don't want to get too tied up there. Let's get started. The first thing you may have noticed is that included with the disc is a comprehensive written game guide. It shows you how to set up and install the software, gives you a click-through guide, codes, and a list of all the objects you'll need to pick up. So, you say, why do you need me? Because I'm your interactive guide. I'll be right here to help you and Curtis sift through all of the pieces to solve the puzzle of flesh. We'll go through it together. You'll actually see all the objects, interact with all the characters, and find those little hidden secrets that are crucial to the game. I should mention that you really need to follow all the steps and clicks I'm going to show you precisely. Otherwise, you may get lost and find yourself face to face with eternal dementia or an extremely painful death. Phantasmagoria 2, A Puzzle of Flesh, does contain some rather gruesome scenes, in addition to some very hot sexual content. Luckily, there are 2 versions of the game, so if you don't want to see all that stuff, you don't have to. But if it were up to me, hotter is always better. So, if you're ready, if you dare, enter the puzzle of flesh. Before you meet Curtis, I should probably explain a few things to you. Let's just say that Curtis is not the most stable person on the planet. He experiences some hallucinations, delusions, and episodes of amnesia. But all in all, Curtis is really a nice guy. Sometimes. In Chapter 1, you'll meet all of Curtis's co-workers, a few of which really deserve to get killed, or at least slapped around a little. You'll meet Blob, Curtis's pet rat, his girlfriend, and his secret admirer, who really gets Curtis all whipped up. Remember, you can skip forward or backward through the guide. You can print out all of the click-through sheets and codes. You're in control, at least for now. Meet Curtis Craig. I think he's kinda cute. But anyway, the first thing you may have noticed is that when you move the mouse around, the cursor changes into different directional arrows and changes color. When you click on a direction, Curtis goes there. If the cursor turns color, you can either pick up the object it is over or use that object on a person or place. Start out by moving Curtis to the right side of his bedroom. There you will notice the nightstand in the corner of the room. Click on the nightstand 2 times to open the drawer and see what's inside. Just a bunch of junk. Junk that we're going to need. Pick up the screwdriver, granola bar, and Polaroid and put them into your inventory. To put something in inventory, simply click on it. If you move the cursor to the bottom of the screen, you can see all of the objects that you have in inventory. Move the cursor to the top, bottom, or sides of the screen to see the exit icon. Click Exit, then click Left. Now we need to see the rest of Curtis's apartment. Click on the bedroom door to the left, and Curtis goes to his living room. When Curtis is in the living room, click down and then click the Polaroid on the coffee table. Click on the Polaroid again to put it into inventory. Click Exit, and then click left to go to the main hallway. At the end of the hall is the front door. If you try to leave, you will find out that Curtis never leaves his apartment without his wallet. Curtis keeps a lot of very important things in his wallet, so you need to find this before you can leave his apartment. Click down and then on the mail basket on the front door to get the mail. Return to the living room. When you get to the living room, take the mail from inventory and use it on Curtis. There is something really juicy waiting for Curtis in today's mail. At any time, if you want to see the object you just grabbed, all you have to do is take it from inventory and click it on the eye icon in the lower right of the screen. After Curtis looks at his mail, you will notice that you have a new item in inventory. It's that juicy thing I was talking about before. A very sexy postcard. Take the postcard and view it. Click on the magnifying glass to read the card. Next, click on the couch to see the wallet hiding under there. That silly little rat is playing games with Curtis. If that sneaky little rat can hide Curtis's wallet, it can find it too. Click left to see the rat's cage, and then click on the cage to take the rat out. By the way, Curtis's rat's name is Blob. Click right and use Blob on the couch by taking her out of inventory and clicking her on the couch. Great! Now not only do you have the wallet stuck under the couch, but the rat is under there too. You have to lure Blob out from under the couch with the granola bar. Take the granola bar from the inventory and use it on the couch to get Blob to come out with the wallet. Return Blob to her cage. Now you and Curtis are ready to leave the apartment. Return to the hall and click the front door to leave the apartment. The next thing you and Curtis are going to want to do is go to WinTech. This is where Curtis works. Click WinTech on the map to go to Curtis's office. Curtis is now standing in the main hallway of WinTech. There are 3 doors. Click on the right door to enter the network room. Click right to check out the stack of boxes in the corner of the room, and then click on the boxes to move them out of the way. Click on the computer monitor to move it out of the way, and then click on the panel door to try to open it. You are going to need a key to open this door, but we'll find that later. Click down twice, and then on the network room door to leave, and return to the main hallway. When Curtis is standing in the main hallway, take the wallet out of inventory and view it by clicking it over the eye in the right corner of the screen. Click on the wallet again to view its contents. Inside Curtis's wallet is his access card, which allows him to enter certain restricted areas in the WinTech building. Use the access card on the door sensor located on the left side of the door. Once you're in the office, click the first cubicle on the left to meet Tom, Curtis's supervisor. Click on the cubicle again, and then click on Tom to talk to him. Use your wallet and your keycard on him. Click down and then on the next cubicle to meet Jocelyn, who is Curtis's girlfriend. Click on Jocelyn to talk to her. Use the Christmas party photo, the photo of Curtis's parents, and the sexy postcard on her. Click down, right, and then on the third cubicle to see Curtis's. Enter Curtis's cubicle and click on the chair to sit down. When you are sitting in Curtis's chair, click on the notebook to see all of Curtis's coworkers' phone extensions. Exit and click on the phone to call to talk to Curtis's coworkers. Leave Curtis's cubicle by clicking Exit and then down. Click on the last cubicle to see Trevor. Click on Trevor to talk to him. Use your card key, the photos, and the postcard on Trevor. Now you need to meet Therese. Click down, right, and then on the cubicle to see Therese working. Click on Therese to talk to her. Use this sexy postcard on Therese to find out that she is Curtis's secret admirer. Click down, and then on the coat rack to go to Bob's cubicle. Click on Bob twice to find out that Curtis really doesn't think too highly of him. Return to Curtis's cubicle and click on the chair to sit down. Click on the computer to log into the network. Curtis's password is Blob. Type Blob and then click on the login button. Go back to Trevor's cubicle by clicking Exit, down, and then right. Once inside Trevor's cubicle, click on him to talk. Then go to Therese's cubicle by clicking down, right, and then left. When inside Therese's cubicle, click on her to talk. Return to Curtis's cubicle and click on the computer. The next thing you're going to want to do is look at Curtis's coworkers' files. Click on the file folders and then click on the files. Make sure you click on the Curtis C directory and then click the Veneman document a few times. Click the monitor again and Curtis has a hallucination. Leave Curtis's cubicle and go to Trevor's cubicle. Click on Trevor to go out to lunch with him. When Curtis and Trevor are sitting in the restaurant, click on Trevor 3 times to talk to him about Curtis's problems. After lunch, Curtis returns to Wintech. While Curtis is standing in the main hallway, click right to enter the network room. Curtis runs into Therese, and she lets him know how she feels about him. Leave the network room and return to the main hallway. From the main hallway, click the door to the left to enter the main office. You do not need to use the keycard again. Once you are inside the main office, go to Curtis's cubicle and sit down at the desk. Click on the computer and then click the email icon on the computer display and read Curtis's email. Reply to coworker's email. Then click on the pencil and paper icon. Click the Curtis C directory and then on the Veneman document. Unfortunately, Bob has put a password on the file. You can solve the puzzle by spelling out Rat Boy. Click on the letters in order when they come up. After you solve the puzzle, click the document again. Leave Curtis's cubicle and go to the main hallway. From the main hallway, click down to leave Wintech and meet Jocelyn at the Dreaming Tree. When the map appears on the screen, click on the Dreaming Tree to meet Jocelyn there. Click on Jocelyn 4 times to talk to her. Take Curtis's wallet from the inventory and use it on the bill to pay it. Curtis and Jocelyn leave the Dreaming Tree to return to Curtis's apartment. When Curtis and Jocelyn are in the apartment, click on Jocelyn to get down with her. Very hot indeed. In Chapter 2, Curtis finds out that Bob has been murdered, but he doesn't really care because we already know. Bob is, or should I say was, a real jerk. Curtis finds a secret door in the network room and uncovers some clues about the mysterious happenings at Wintech. You get to meet Curtis's psychiatrist, Dr. Harburg, who tries to help Curtis sift through his very confused brain. But the best part, actually, my favorite part in Chapter 2 is you get to go to a private S&M club called the Borderline. Curtis gets his belly button pierced and has a rather torrid encounter with Therese in the bathroom of the club. How kinky. Well, I don't think Bob will be very productive at work today. Oh well, at least he suffered a very painful death. Start out by moving Curtis out of his bedroom and go to the front door of Curtis's apartment. Click on the mail basket to get the mail, and then bring Curtis back to the living room. Take the mail from inventory and use it on Curtis. Curtis gets a very hot card from Therese. The card goes into Curtis's inventory to be used later. While you and Curtis are still in the living room, take Dr. Harburg's card from inventory and use it on the phone to set up an appointment with her. After Curtis has made his appointment, go to the front door and click on it to leave. Click Wintech on the map. Looks like there's been some trouble at Wintech. Click on Jocelyn, Trevor, and Therese to find out what happened to good old Bob. Click on the office door to try to enter, but you're going to get stopped by a cop because, after all, this is a crime scene. That doesn't stop Curtis. Click on the door next to the main office door to enter Paul's office. While standing in Paul's office, click on the piece of paper on the floor to put it in inventory. Then click on the door to enter the office and see Bob getting himself stapled. Once inside the office, click on the detective a few times to get questioned. Well, there will be no work going on at Wintech today, so they can hose down Curtis's office to get all of the Bob chunks off his computer. So you and Curtis find yourselves at the Dreaming Tree with all of his other co-workers. Click on Jocelyn twice to hear what she thinks about Bob getting murdered. Click on Therese 3 times to talk about Bob's murder and get invited to the borderline. Curtis goes back to his apartment. Click on the mirror. Curtis is having a few hallucinations. Leave Curtis's apartment and go back to Wintech to try to find out more about the murder. From the main hallway of Wintech, click on the main office door to enter. Unfortunately, you get thrown out by the detective. But that doesn't stop Curtis. Click on the door again to enter the office. Once you and Curtis are inside the office, click on Tom's cubicle to enter it. Then click on the phone and dial Paul's extension, 6996. Curtis decides to pretend that he is Tom and distracts Paul from his office. Enter Paul's office by clicking right and then in the office door to the left. When you and Curtis get inside Paul's office, click on the desk and then on the computer screen to read Paul's secret document. Exit from the computer display and click the family photo on Paul's desk. Curtis keeps having those hallucinations. Click the wall to read Paul's Carpe Diem plaque. Click on the desk drawer to open it, and then click on the key to put it into inventory. Exit from Paul's office and go to Bob's cubicle by clicking left, then right. When you are inside Bob's office, click the button on the floor to get a closer look at it. Then put it into inventory. Exit Bob's office and return to the main hallway of Wintech. Click on the network room door on the right to go in. Click right on the boxes to get a closer look, and then click on the boxes and the computer monitor to move them away from the door. Take the key you just stole from inventory and use it on the door to open it. After Curtis crawls through the tiny door, click the toolbox on the floor to get a closer look. Then click the toolbox twice more to put it into inventory. Leave the network room by clicking left, down 2 times, and then in the door where you will find yourself in the main hallway. From the main hallway, click down to leave Wintech. Go back to Curtis's apartment. Enter Curtis's living room, take the toolbox from inventory, and use it on Curtis to open it. After Curtis opens the toolbox, click on the lace and the threshold file to put them both in inventory. Then click on the hidden compartment in the locker to try to open it. Exit, and then leave Curtis's apartment to go to his appointment with Dr. Harburg. Click on Dr. Harburg's office to go there. Inside the office, click on Dr. Harburg to talk to her. Use the threshold file, the piece of lace, the button, the sexy greeting card, all of the Polaroids, and the postcard on Dr. Harburg. Click left, then click on the door to end your session with Dr. Harbour. Go to the Dreaming Tree by clicking Dreaming Tree on the map. While Curtis is sitting at the table, click on the waiter 3 times to talk with him about the murder. Click up to exit the Dreaming Tree. Well, here is the moment that you have been waiting for. You and Curtis finally get to go to the borderline. Remember, you don't want to get stuck there too long. When you approach the club, take the greeting card from inventory and use it on the bouncer so he'll let you into the club. When you and Curtis are standing there in the club, looking terribly out of place, click left to go and find Therese sitting on the couch. Click Therese 3 times to talk to her about the club. Therese gets Curtis all turned on, and he decides to have a drink to try and relax. Click on the drink to slam it. After Curtis slams the drink, he gets himself volunteered to be pierced. Click on the piercer to get Curtis's belly button nailed. Then have hot, steamy, animal-like sex with Therese in the bathroom of the club. You will have to see this for yourself. Curtis ends up in his apartment. Now that I've slipped into something more comfortable, I can tell you about Chapter 3. In this chapter, Curtis does a little investigating into this whole Wintech thing, and he uncovers some interesting information about his father's death. Curtis finds out that there are covert operations happening in the basement of Wintech and becomes very suspicious of Paul Warner. Therese breaks into Curtis's apartment and has something else in mind besides casual conversation, like chains, leather, and a good whipping. Yow. Curtis doesn't really know how to deal with this, but he keeps coming back for more. Oh, I almost forgot. Tom, Curtis's supervisor, gets his head smashed to bits with a sledgehammer. Ouch. Well, you can't say that Curtis leads a boring life. Murders, S&M clubs, and lots of hot sex. After receiving a call from Paul Warner, leave the apartment and go to Wintech. From the Wintech main hallway, click on the right door to enter the network room. Click right to revisit the secret door and find out that someone has plastered over it by clicking on the plastered over door. Click down and then click on the desk to discover the hammer on the desk. Click the hammer to put it into inventory. Exit and leave the network room and go to the main office. Now that you are in Curtis's cubicle, click the computer and log in using Curtis's password, Blob. Click on the email icon. Read and reply to some of Curtis's email. Click the pencil and paper icon and then click the memos file. Click on Access Document. Use Infection as the password to see this file. Click on Energy Document and use Revelation as the password to see this file. Click on Curtis Document and use the password Desecration to see this file. Exit the computer system, leave Curtis's cubicle, and go to Trevor's cubicle. Click on Trevor 3 times to talk to him. Leave Trevor's cubicle and go to Therese's cubicle. Click on Therese twice to talk to her about how much fun the two of you had the night before. Leave Therese's office by clicking down and then right. Click on the door to hear an argument in Paul Warner's office. Return to Curtis's cubicle and watch him trip out. Go to Bob's cubicle and click on the box on his desk to have an evil hallucination. Go to Jocelyn's cubicle. Click on Jocelyn twice to talk to her. Curtis makes up some lame excuse as to what he was doing last night. Leave Jocelyn's cubicle and go to Curtis's cubicle. Click the computer and then on the archive directory and use the password Carpe Diem, 2 words, to access this file. Click on the threshold document to read it. Exit the computer, leave Curtis's cubicle, and click on Paul Warner's door to hear Paul argue with Tom. Curtis has a flashback to when he was in the mental hospital. To escape the hospital, click on Curtis and then the strap holding Curtis in the chair. Next, click on the rolling ball to create a distraction. Click on Curtis and then on the strap again to release him. Click left and then right to leave the hospital. Curtis wakes up in the office surrounded by his co-workers. Click on the dreaming tree to go there with Trevor. Click on Trevor 4 times to talk to him. After leaving the dreaming tree, go back to Curtis's apartment. When you get to the apartment, go to the living room. Take the toolbox from inventory and use it on Curtis to try to open it again. In order to open the secret compartment in the toolbox, you're going to have to use the hammer and the screwdriver together. Take the hammer from inventory and view it. Then take the screwdriver from inventory and click it on the hammer in the window. Click on the X in the hammer window and use the combined tools on the toolbox. Click on the letter in the bottom of the toolbox. Read the letter and find out what really happened to Curtis's father. Exit, and then go to the front door of the apartment. Leave Curtis's apartment and go to Dr. Harburg's office. Click on Dr. Harburg to talk to her. From inventory, use the Polaroids, sexy postcard, greeting card, file folder, piece of lace, button, and Curtis's father's letter on her. Make sure you use the letter on her twice. After leaving Dr. Harburg's office, go back to Curtis's apartment. Discover Therese hanging out in the apartment. Click on her to find out how she got in and why she is there. Of course, you could probably guess why she's there. Click on Therese until she ties Curtis up and whips his little ass. Meow. In Chapter 4, Curtis continues to get hassled by the police after he finds out that Tom has been murdered. Unfortunately, the detective is having a hard time believing his alibi. Curtis has another appointment with Dr. Harburg, who truly believes he's in need of a serious evaluation. I've been saying that ever since he started dating Jocelyn, but who am I to argue with Curtis? Trevor meets Curtis at the Dreaming Tree restaurant, and they talk about Tom's death and investigating the secret Threshold project. Curtis tries to get down with Jocelyn, but he reveals his scratches and bruises from the night before with Therese. This obviously upsets a nice girl like Jocelyn, and she storms out. After changing his security clearance, Curtis finally gets to explore the basement of Wintech, but finds a few aliens down there. Some of my best patients are aliens. Therese lures Curtis to the borderline again for another dose of her painful love potion. After their standing ovation, Curtis returns home, but Therese gets kinda hung up in the bathroom and electrocuted. Quite shocking. Curtis is awakened the next morning by the phone ringing. Curtis learns that Tom has been murdered the night before. After this startling revelation, there's a knock at the door. It's Detective Allie. She barges in to question Curtis about his whereabouts the evening before. Start out by clicking Detective Allie to give her Curtis's alibi. Now go to the front door and get the mail from the mail basket. Return to the living room and take the mail from inventory and use it on Curtis to sort it. Curtis freaks out when he reads the letter from his dead mother. Next, take Dr. Harburg's card from inventory and use it on the phone to make an appointment with her. Leave the apartment and go to Wintech. From the main hallway, click on the main door to the Wintech office to enter. Go to Tom's cubicle and get caught by Detective Allie. After getting really bitched out by the detective, leave Wintech and go to the Dreaming Tree to meet Trevor. At the Dreaming Tree, click on Trevor 4 times to talk with him about Tom's murder and investigating the basement of Wintech. Next, go to Dr. Harburg's office. Click on Dr. Harburg 3 times to talk to her about what's bothering Curtis. After storming out of the office, click on Curtis's apartment. When Curtis returns to the apartment, Wait for a knock on the door. Click on the front door to let Jocelyn in. Click on Jocelyn to talk to her about Tom's murder. Click on Jocelyn again to see Curtis make a mistake. He takes his shirt off while starting to get down with her, and she notices all of Curtis's battle scars from the night before with Therese. Jocelyn storms out, very pissed off. Return to the living room and pick up the hairpin that Jocelyn left behind and put it into inventory. Then leave the apartment and go to Wintech. From inside the main hallway of Wintech, take the hairpin from inventory and use it on Paul's office door to open it. When you and Curtis are inside Paul's office, click on the desk to sit down and then click on the computer. Log into the system as Curtis Craig using the blob password and then click on the email icon. Read the new mail from Trevor regarding security codes. After reading the message, log out of the system by clicking on the moon icon. Once you have logged off, re-log in, except this time, log in as Paul Warner and use Carpe Diem as the password. Click on the computer icon between the email icon and the log off icon. Curtis is going to change his security clearance. Change security level. Click on Curtis's name and then click on the up arrow next to the security level window. Use the password Black Lotus, all one word, and change Curtis's clearance level from 1 to 3. Exit the computer system. Then take the screwdriver from inventory and use it to open Paul's desk drawer. Get the drawer open. Click on the piece of paper and the secret code book to put them into inventory. Leave Paul's office and go to the main hallway through the door Curtis unlocked with a hairpin. From the main hallway, click on the glass door in front of Curtis. Then take Curtis's access card from inventory and use it on the sensor next to the glass door. Curtis gets to the elevator. Use the access card on the sensor next to the elevator to open the doors. Curtis has just entered the basement of Wintech. Click on the doors at the end of the hallway. Keep traveling down the hallway by clicking the doors. When there are no more double doors to go through, click the set of doors on the right and then click on the code box. Enter the code 10958 to open the doors. You need to do this quickly or else it's the end of the road for Curtis Craig. Once Curtis is inside the computer room, click on the computer console to sit down at the chair. Use the password Rosetta to access the system. Converse with the aliens, but do not accept their invitation to enter the threshold. Exit the computer system and leave the computer room. Follow the hallway by clicking the double doors and go back to the elevator. Click on the elevator buttons to open the door. Leave Wintech and go to the borderline to meet Therese. From inside the borderline, click left to go and talk to Therese on the couch. Click on Therese twice to get a very passionate kiss. Then click on the drink in front of Curtis to slam it. Follow Therese by clicking right. Try to get past the bouncer by clicking up. After getting turned down by the bouncer, take the invitation from inventory and use it on the bouncer. Click the puzzle on the door to get a closer look. Solve the puzzle by clicking on each piece until the green shapes form a circle in the middle. Then click the center of the puzzle to open the door. Once inside the bondage room, click on the curtains to find Therese hiding there. Curtis has a very eye-opening encounter with Therese and finds out they are being watched. Oh, hi. In Chapter 5, Curtis finds out that Therese has been killed. Dr. Harvard and Trevor are both murdered. Poor Curtis is running out of time. And friends. Curtis returns to the basement of Wintech, enters the threshold, and confronts some pretty strange stuff. After a series of challenges that demand precise movements and lightning-fast reflexes, everything becomes clear to Curtis. He realizes that he isn't really himself. I should probably stop here, because I don't want to ruin the ending for you. Just beware. Not only are those aliens dangerous, but they are really intelligent. It's going to take quick wits to outsmart those aliens. Otherwise, it's Curtis's demise. Curtis wakes up to knocking at his door. It's Detective Allie. Curtis finds out that Therese has been murdered at the borderline. Curtis opens the door and lets the detective in. Click on the detective 3 times to hear her accuse Curtis of the murder and threaten to nail his ass to the wall. After the detective leaves, Curtis returns to the bedroom. Click right to see the nightstand in the bedroom. Click on the nightstand, open the drawer, recover the wallet, and put it back into inventory. Next, click twice on the mirror in the bedroom. Curtis has some rather bizarre hallucinations. Go to the front door and check to see if there's any mail. Click on the mail basket again to take the note. Then go to the living room and use Dr. Harburg's card on the phone to make an appointment. Inside Dr. Harburg's office, click on the phone to hear her scream. Then click behind the desk to discover Dr. Harburg's dead body. Curtis has another hallucination and is confronted by a security guard. Click on the door to escape from the security guard. Be careful not to click on the guard himself. Leave Dr. Harburg's office and go to Wintech. Once you are inside Wintech, enter the network room. Talk to Trevor and see him get killed right in front of Curtis. Click on Trevor twice to get his access card. Curtis leaves the network room and returns to the main hallway. Approach the glass doors and use Trevor's access card key on the sensor. Use Trevor's card again on the elevator sensor. From the basement, go back to the computer room by going through the 3 sets of double doors and then click the doors to the right. You will not need to re-enter the access code for this door. From inside the computer room, click on the computer console to turn it on. Use the password Rosetta to log into the system. Answer the questions the aliens ask you until they invite you into the threshold. Exit the computer system and approach the sensor next to the threshold door. Use Trevor's key card on the sensor. Click the second symbol on the right to open the threshold door. When Curtis enters the threshold room, click the threshold console and get confronted by Paul Warner. Click on Paul twice to hear him tell you where you came from and find out that Curtis is not really himself. Paul gets knocked out by the Hectotomb and Curtis is confronted with his worst nightmare, at least for now. Click on the Hectotomb twice. When the Hectotomb is zapping Curtis with his mother's head, click on the platform to dive into the threshold. Curtis enters the alien world. Click on the vines and grab a piece of the red slime. Click down and then on the alien to get a closer look. Pick up the alien. Next, click left and pick up the star-shaped alien. Then click the fungus to pick it up. Click right and left to enter the next alien room. Approach the electric field and click on the green portion. Turn around to see more aliens. Click on the aliens and watch them scatter. Use the fungus on the remaining alien to catch it. Combine the U-shaped alien with the star-shaped alien. Use the combined alien on the electrical field. You will have to use the right button on your mouse to do this. Click the green fog to be teleported to the next room. Once inside the next room, click on the creature twice to see the real Curtis. Curtis is now transported to an operating room. Click on the tray and take the syringe. Curtis stabs Dr. Merrick in the head with the syringe. click the gun and stop Jocelyn from killing Curtis after she tells you she knows about Therese. When approached by the zombies, click down and pick up the keycard you just dropped. Then click right to get the hell out of there. Next, click the handle on the bondage rack to stop Therese from electrocuting Curtis. Click Curtis's mom to give her a big hug. Click the real Curtis. Then pick up the alien glob. Click down, click right, and go through the tunnel. Click left, and then on the pipe. Combine the alien glob with the slime, and use this combination to fix the hole in the pipe. Click up to go to the top of the alien structure. Next, click on the ring. Take the electric alien from inventory and use it on the missing space. Click the suspended device to uncover a puzzle. In the puzzle, there is a brain-like shape. There are also some loose wires. Fix the wires by matching the correct color combination. Use the already connected wires as an example. Click the orange star to start the reaction. Then click the C-shaped ring until its opening is facing the red object on the left side. Click the orange star again. Find the triangle with the 3 colored dots. Spin the triangle until the blue element is in the lower right corner. Then spin the C-shaped ring until the opening faces northeast. Click the orange star again. Find the purple ball in the upper right. Click the ball until the arrow is facing down and the green globe pulsates. At the base of the green globe, you will see a purple ball. Click on the purple ball. Click the purple ball again to fire the laser. Then click the C-shaped ring until its opening is facing the red object on the left side. When the beam hits the silver disc, click the orange star. Locate the yellow, blue, and red switches. As the beam approaches, click the red switch, the yellow switch, and then the blue one. You're going to have to do this quickly as they light up in the correct order. When the puzzle is running, do this twice, and Curtis leaves the alien world. As Curtis walks through the threshold, he is met by Jocelyn. The aliens request he returns to their world, but Jocelyn loves Curtis. Either click on Jocelyn or the threshold to decide Curtis's fate. So, did you let Curtis live happily ever after as an alien with an unsuspecting Jocelyn? Or did you return him to the threshold to end his life of insanity? What a decision. I hope you enjoyed Phantasmagoria 2, A Puzzle of Flesh. Look out for more GameWizard's guides for your favorite games. Until next time, I'm Rachel Moore. See you on the other side.